Enjoy reading the story on Manga Funny channel.
In the palace of Mu Prince Mansion, the night was pitch dark, with not a sound to be heard. The entire harem lay silent. Suddenly a hooded figure appeared. She was Zhen Triao, a concubine of Mu Prince Mansion. It seemed she was injured, her frail body collapsing into the palace's lake. She appeared unconscious, unable to move. My beloved concubine was struck by the 7 deadly powder from my hidden weapon. How are you still alive? For General Zhenbei to train a spy like you, it's truly a waste of effort. Perhaps she was a spy reincarnated into another's body. As she slowly sank into the water, her consciousness gradually returned. I can't breathe. It hurts. At that moment, a handsome man pulled her out of the lake. As she regained awareness, she thought, "Where am I? Who is this? And why is he looking at me so arrogantly?" She tried to remember what had happened, despite her injuries. But she couldn't recall anything except that she was from modern times, working tirelessly. Not only did I suddenly die while working overtime on an article, but I didn't even get to go to the next life. Instead of being reincarnated, I became cannon fodder in a trashy romance novel I read at lunchtime. No, I need at least 5 seconds to wrap my head around this. This Asura demon in front of me is none other than the original novel's hero, Prince Mujing Hao's, a metaphor for someone with a fierce, cruel appearance. When he was young, his mother was killed by the Empress, and after he grew up, he was framed by the Empress's family, the Zhenbei General Mansion. He almost died on the battlefield, a true case of tragic beauty. The eldest daughter of the general's mansion and Jing Haojie had a love-hate relationship, but eventually chose love and joined forces to rule the world. And the original owner of this body was merely the daughter of a concubine from the general's mansion. To become a marquise, she agreed to the general's request to become a spy. Once discovered as a spy, I'll be torn apart limb by limb and tortured to death. I've got to be the worst of all the cannon fodder in the 18th line. No way. I can't just sit here and wait to die without knowing why. Your Highness, what are you talking about? What generals and spies? Is someone trying to harm you? Since my beloved concubine is stubborn, why don't you tell me what you're doing on the rockery at this hour of the night? And the original owner of this body was just a concubine's daughter of the general's mansion. To become a marquise, she agreed to the general's request to become a spy. Once discovered as a spy, I'll be torn apart limb by limb and tortured to death. I've got to be the worst of all the cannon fodder in the 18th line. No way. I can't just sit here and wait to die without knowing why. Your Highness, what are you talking about? What generals and spies? Is someone trying to harm you? She had no idea what this situation was, why she was reincarnated into this woman's body, and at this precise moment. Since my beloved concubine is stubborn, why don't you tell me what you're doing on the rockery at this hour of the night? He said, then, you tell me, what's the story with this carrier pigeon? And what is my beloved holding in her hand? He noticed a dead pigeon with an injury beside her, which raised his suspicions that she was a spy. Without even looking at it, I know the original owner used it to pass messages. Once I'm caught, there's no way to defend myself. He immediately flew down, ready to attack her. With her injuries, she couldn't possibly resist. In fact, she didn't even know if this body could use martial arts. He said, "Nothing to say? Are you kidding me?" In her panic, she tried to turn and run, but he had already grabbed her. His grip was so strong that she could barely breathe. He really wants to kill me, she thought, feeling on the brink of death. Since I can't live, then you, Paperman, can drop dead with me. Lady, what do you want? At that moment, he suddenly passed out, and both of them fell to the ground, leaving her narrowly escaping death. His head was injured, blood pouring out, which terrified her, making her think he was dead. Follow my channel to see the next episode. In the previous episode, we saw that Dianxia and Zhen Qiao fell to the ground, causing him to be injured and fall unconscious. Now, let's continue with the story. After the fall, she brought him back to her residence and called the best doctors to treat him. The doctors examined him and found that his arm bone was broken. He said, "I have already set the bone in His Highness's right arm. For now, remember to eat light meals and avoid water." Yes, but what about the wound on his head? When will he wake up? I'm really not certain. The wound is not deep, but I'm afraid there could be other complications. She thought, other complications? She wondered what could be so complex about this injury. It seemed like a simple broken arm. He said, for example, if there's a blood clot in His Highness's brain, he may never wake up again. What? A simple injury could cause memory loss or leave him in a vegetative state? Really? He confirmed it once again, which secretly pleased her. She hoped he wouldn't wake up and start acting strangely. He lay motionless on the bed as she tended to him, but she still didn't want him to wake up. Feigning sadness, she placed her hand on him and thought, "My pitiful prince, what will I do without you? Please don't suspect me. Just an illusion, right? Of course, the consort still cares for His Highness." The steward asked, "Madam, the doctor has left the palace. Now, can you tell me what happened? How did His Highness get a head injury?" She had to come up with an excuse to avoid the steward's questions. She said, "The situation was quite complicated earlier. I was talking to His Highness. He wanted to try something new, so he brought me here." But her explanation was even more convoluted, making it hard for the steward to believe. "Your Highness, how could you behave like this? The general is ambitious, so Jing Haojie accepted his adopted daughter, the original owner, as his concubine. In order to catch a big fish with a long line, Jing Haojie was quite indulgent with Zhen Qiao, so much so that others in the mansion believed she was Prince Mu's most favored consort. Then, I'll just use this misunderstanding to my advantage. Madam, you should return to your room and take care of yourself until His Highness wakes up. After everything that's happened, I'd really like to get some sleep. But I won't leave. I will wait here for His Highness to wake up." She had to feign concern for him, avoiding any suspicion from the steward regarding the injury. That seemed to have fooled the steward. He replied, "Such a pity, madam. Your heartfelt feelings for His Highness are clearly profound. This is it, the opportune moment. Steward Wang, I suddenly remembered there is a 1,000-year-old Lingxi mushroom in the general's mansion. If it's used as medicine, His Highness may wake up sooner. I will go back now." Taking this opportunity to leave, she turned away, secretly relieved to escape the room and avoid more pretense. But unexpectedly, the steward did not allow her to go outside. He said, "The culprits have not been caught. It's not advisable for you to go out now. Lingji and ginseng are available at the Imperial Hospital." Hey, I know that I am now a member of Prince Mu's mansion, and I shouldn't think about my former home, but this is also for His Highness. Steward, if I don't go to get the Lingji, and it delays His Highness's recovery, I will feel guilty for the rest of my life. I just want to do something for His Highness. She pretended to say sorrowful words again to deceive the steward. But he said, "My lady, I had no intention of stopping you, but His Highness hasn't woken up yet. If anything happens to you on the way, how can I explain it to His Highness?" Defeated, she replied, "I'll do as you say." Her attempt to leave had failed. Day 2. I'm doomed when he wakes up. I'm going to die. What bad luck. I've been living in fear all night because of him. But I must admit, this male lead is really good looking. Anyway, he's not awake, so it's okay to touch him. His skin is really nice. It's your fault. It's your fault. Suddenly he woke up and grabbed her hand, which startled her. He asked, "Who are you, a spy? How dare you infiltrate my military camp? Speak!" She thought, what is this guy talking about? What military camp? Could it be that he's lost his memory? Finally, she could breathe a sigh of relief if he really lost his memory. Follow my channel to see the next episode. In the previous episode, we saw that Dianxia had woken up and started questioning her identity because he had lost his memory. Let's continue with the story. She thought, could it be that he's lost his memory? Does he recognize me? He couldn't remember the woman standing before him? Was this their first meeting? Or had they known each other before? Suddenly, he grabbed her, catching her off guard, and her throat tightened, making it hard to breathe. She thought, this guy is choking me for the second time today. If I were stronger, I'd definitely crush his lousy head. He thought, what is this woman plotting? She said, Dianxia, do you not remember what happened last night? Dianxia is another name for him. He couldn't remember what had happened the night before, so she continued, Dianxia, do you remember? He asked, who are you? Dianxia. He still hadn't let go of her. Just answer the questions I ask. He said, talk. Where is this place? She replied, this is the mansion. When he finally released her, she coughed continuously. She thought to herself, he's a madman. If Dianxia likes someone else, just tell me. Why did you try to kill me? Even though you clearly said that I am your beloved and all you need in this lifetime, and that you would never marry another. Dianxia, what's wrong with you? If you bully me like this, I'll never talk to you again. Either talk properly, or shut up. I'll never forgive you for pushing me down. Absolutely. So you're from the mansion? In the novel, Jing Haoji is a cocky bastard who never lets anyone in. If I provoke him, I'll die more miserably than the original spy. Of course. I'm a member of this mansion for life and death. I'm not dead meat, right? Then has the rebellion in the north been quelled? He asked. Rebellion? She recalled. According to the book, that should have happened when Jing Haoji was 18 years old. It happened 5 years ago. Why are you asking this? She replied. 5 years, leaving him in shock, unable to believe it was true. That's right, Jing Haoji has lost his memory. What? And his memory stops at the Battle of the North, which was a pivotal point in time. At that time, he had already grown cunning and was preparing for the general's capture. Swish. At that time, Zhen Triao became a pawn in the game between both sides. What a joke. I must survive. Dianxia, we were clearly in the rock garden last night. Oh, the battle was so intense back then. Is he still an immature kid? Well, since it's come to this. I said, we were on the ground having relations at that time. He yelled, enough. Follow my channel to see the next episode.